Hello everyone, I'm Adrian. It's been some time since my last video and I wanted to let you know what's happening with the Artefact of Fate. If you don't know what the artifact is, then if you click on a link that's hopefully going to appear up there, it should take you to the beginning of this playlist. I'm going to be showing you how you can start to add your own characters to the app. Meet Pippa Joyheart, a charming and mischievous half-elf bard with a knack for both spellcasting and swordplay. Pippa is a great musician and has mastered the art of storytelling. Known for her quick wit and enchanting performances, she inspires friends and confounds enemies. Her adventurous spirit and joyful character make her a captivating addition to any party. So let's get over there and see what's new then. Okay, so here they are, the Enchanted Edition and the Dark Edition. In the last video, I used the Enchanted Edition. It was a demonstration to show how the app handles combat, featuring 3 adventurers against a troop of goblins. I used the Enchanted Edition, so this time I'll be using the Dark Edition. An unusual choice maybe for Pippa, I know, but I want to mix it up a bit. And I found that the Dark Edition does seem to be quite popular. It's probably the gold hardware against the black that looks really nice. So today, it's this one. Okay, so I've got the Dark Edition attached to my laptop. You can see there's USB connection on both sides. And if we turn it on, the first change you'll see it says Cal. Now, this is a new feature that I've added in just to create a bit more stability with the touch buttons so they don't drift over time. So to calibrate those, if you just touch each one of them in turn, it doesn't matter which one you touch in at which point, it just calibrates the buttons and it will go into its normal features. Everything else you should see should act the same. So we've got 1 dice of a D12. If I can change that to a D20, and maybe we had a modifier in of say +6. We roll the dice and we see that we get 17. So I must have rolled an 11. And we did roll an 11. If I put this to a D12, obviously you want to roll multiple dice. You press the 2 coin buttons. You can go to say 6 D12s, you roll them all simultaneously and you see what the answer is, and the answer is 32. So most people are probably going to be using the Artefact of Fate as a standalone device anyway in their game nights, just to replace their standard conventional dice. But I'm going to be showing you what we're doing with the app and how you might like it. Okay, so I've made a few changes to the app. Before you click anywhere on the screen and you would get the combat screen coming up. Put the combat screen under this button, and I've added a few other buttons with other features. So to add characters, you need to go into Fate's Ledger. So if we go into here, you'll see that I've already uploaded Pippa's profile picture into this character sheet. So let's start filling out the character sheets. So we've got her name here, and her name is Pippa. And her race. If you look at all these races, we've got quite a few races, and if you select them, particular ones, we've got a hobgoblin, it will tell you all the abilities, what their proficiency, natural proficiency in their racial skill, or anything like this. So we could go up and we could say, okay, let's go with a mountain dwarf, +2 constitution, +2 strength, very powerful fighter, obviously good on the axes and the hammers, and racial skill of history, of course, with the mountain dwarf. But we are setting up a half-elf. So a half-elf, they have a +2 charisma and a +1 to 2 ability scores of your choice, which is really nice. That's very unusual. Most races actually have these set. But because they are a mix between a human and an elf, they do have this sort of special ability. So if we set up a few of these now, we could set them up at any point, but let's set them up now. So charisma, she's going to be high in charisma. She's a fantastic performer. She's an amazing, charismatic individual. She's also a very strong woman, so she's going to have a constitution of 14, which means that she's going to be able to battle through those hard times. Dexterity, she is going to have a lot of finesse when it comes to combat. She's not going to be fighting with strength. She's going to be fighting with finesse. And we can set up as strength. Strength is not a strength. I'm going to set that down at 8 because I really want to take wisdom up at 12 and intelligence at 10. Now you'll notice there's there's a +1 that's been appearing here, which we can add to these ability scores. Now, if you want to take them off, is a -1, so I could take that off, and I could add this to, say, her wisdom instead. But it doesn't change a lot for a modifier here, so I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to add it to her constitution. Oh, it's already on her constitution, and her dexterity here. So there we go. So then we have the classes, and we have the classic classes, you know, barbarian, bard, cleric, druid, fighter, monk, paladin, ranger, rogue, sorcerer, warlock, wizard, and we've got the artificer as well. So if you bring up artificer, you'll see all the characteristics, or maybe we could go with a blood hunter, more of an unusual one, but I thought it was a nice one to add in. But she is a bard. So bard, class features, bardic inspiration, spellcasting, class proficiencies, light armor, simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords. Okay, so her sex is she's female, and let's look at the skills. So the skills and the background, tools, and language come from the background. Now, usually, you'd have a particular background you'd choose from a very limited number of backgrounds. But with this system, I really wanted to make it a lot more open-ended, where you could have any background you want, any background. And what you would do is you choose 2 skills, and then either 2 tools or languages that basically are close to your background. So for Pippa, of course, the first skill that she's going to go for is she's going to go for performance, because, whoops, there we go. Yeah, performance, because she's a fantastic performer, amazing charisma, fantastic on stage. So the next skill that she has is she's going to be going for persuasion, because she can be incredibly persuasive when she wants to be. And so here we go for the tools and languages. So, of course, she's going to play a musical instrument as her main tool. And her other background is going to be a bit more unusual. And I really want to go off the beaten track here and do something a little bit more unusual to show the flexibility of having a much more flexible background skills. And she actually speaks the celestial language. Now, celestial language is a language of celestial beings, of angels, and so on. And the reason is that she had an accident when she was very, very young, and when she was, she nearly didn't survive. And a celestial being at the time, she befriended this celestial being, who she basically, all through her childhood and all through her young life, she basically had these conversations in these times of struggle and so on. And so that's why she speaks a celestial language, which is very unusual. So you can put the player's name in here. It's optional. You don't need to. It just helps you track what you're doing and so on. So these are the main characteristics we set up. So if we go accept, what you'll see, it's done all the calculations for us, so we don't need to do any of them. So it calculates your initiative, your passive wisdom, your perception, your proficiency bonuses. All this information is automatically calculated. And the thing is this is stored in the character sheet, but in truth, what happens is the system will actually automatically calculate everything on the fly. So for instance, if you suddenly drank a strength potion that put your strength much higher, a lot of characteristics are actually based on your strength. Now, obviously, Pippa would fight with more finesse, with dexterity, but if her strength, because of drinking a strength potion, went up, what would happen is the system would suddenly see the strength's much higher, and so her attack bonus, a damage bonus would go up, her ability to do athletics would go up, and as soon as it ends on the turn, because this is all automatically calculated, it would all go back to normal. So I think it's a nice way of sort of helping with the game mechanics, making it much more fluid and less tedious when you actually calculate it manually. So if we accept that, we're going to go back to the main screen. Okay, so there was a lot there to take in, and before we get to see what Pippa can do, I need to get a coffee. Before I get on with the rest of the video, why don't I talk about this coffee for a while? Or maybe not, because you're not interested in this coffee. You want to know what Pippa's up to. Come on. Okay, let's see what Pippa can do. Let's go into combat, which is down here, and we'll see the combat screen that we saw before. So if we go into the characters, we see the same characters we had before, plus all the goblins, and at the bottom is Pippa. She's appeared now. What does Pippa want to do? So the action she wants to take is she wants to attack. Who does Pippa want to attack? The target. She's going to attack the Goblin Chief. Pippa wants to attack the Goblin Chief, question mark. Confirm that. So Pippa attacks the Goblin Chief using a rapier. Natural ability +2, proficiency in the weapon +2. Obviously it's pulled all that information from the character that we've made. The system knows that she's a bard, so she has proficiency in a rapier, and it's done all the calculations for us. Pippa to roll 1d20 +4. So on here, on the artifact, it's sort of saying roll plus a +4 modifier. So even though it's saying d12 on here, it's actually going to roll the d20 because it's being requested by the app. So we roll on there, and it says Pippa has rolled 13 +4, which equals 17. The Goblin's Chief armor class is 17, which doesn't stop Pippa's attack. Pippa successfully strikes the Goblin Chief. Roll 1d8 +2 for damage. So here we are on the artifact again. So if we roll again, and we'll see that Pippa has rolled 3 +2, which equals 5. The duel is a tense affair, with both Pippa and the Goblin Chief exchanging blow for blow. In a moment of daring, Pippa feints and then swiftly changes direction, catching the Goblin Chief off guard. The blade slices a shallow line across its thigh, a minor yet decisive wound. The Goblin Chief takes 5 hit points of damage, current health 17 out of 22. If you like the Artefact of Fate, then please click like and subscribe if you want to keep up to date with how the app for the artifact is progressing. If you've got any ideas that you'd like to see, then please put them down in the comments. Till next time.